Hi, this is MŽOURACK and this is DIKTAAT. It is my MŽOURACK sequencer that's focused on live recording triggers. I really like performing with or working with percussive sounds in my modular, and I wanted to make some device that will bring more control and immediacy to your rack. I'll try to cover as much as possible in this video, though there is more information to be found in the manual, so do check it out. DIKTAAT is 10 HP wide. It features mechanical switches. It has 4 output channels. It features sequences that are up to 64 steps long. You can have up to 16 of them in memory. They're organized into 4 banks. It has clock in and out, as well as reset in and out. You'll notice when you start the device for the first time that there's already a lot of recordings included. So what we're going to do first is we're going to switch to the 4th bank, because by default the 4th bank is empty and there's nothing recorded in it yet. So to do that, hold the function button and press the 4th pattern button. Now you'll notice that no notes are playing at this point, but the bar at the bottom is still showing progress, meaning that our sequencer is still playing, though there are no notes recorded. Let's talk about tools. These buttons up here allow us to select from various so-called tools. You'll notice that these tools are divided into 2 groups. They're divided into the recording tools and the play tools. Whether we are in recording or play mode is decided by this large button over here. Let's press it. When the LED is on, it means we are in recording mode and we can select from the upper row of tools. When the LED is off, we are in play mode and we can select from the bottom row of tools. Let's talk about the default recording and play tools. Make sure you are using them by making sure that none of these LEDs are on. So instead of choosing one of these tools, we're gonna just make sure all of the LEDs are off. And now we are in the default play tool. The default play tool means that we can simply finger drum and nothing is being recorded. If we do want to record that, we should switch to the default recording mode. Now it's going to be a bit hard to record into silence, so what I'm going to do first is cheat and use a feature that we'll explain later in this video and add a static grid of hi-hats to the track. Right. So now we are in the default recording mode and I can start finger drumming on top of these hi-hats. You'll notice that these notes are quantized onto the grid. So let's say I want to record something else now. I can either clear notes or switch to a different pattern that has nothing in it yet. I'm going to explain clearing notes later, so let's instead switch to pattern number 2 and record something there. So that's our recording in our 2nd pattern. The 3rd pattern is still empty. The 4th pattern is also still empty. The 1st one holds our original recording, and the 2nd one holds the 2nd recording. Let's talk about the first recording tool, which is the clear tool. So let's go back to our 1st pattern, the one we recorded earlier, and we're going to select clear. And now, instead of finger drumming, these buttons will actually erase the notes from that specific track. So let's erase the 3rd track of the 1st pattern. You can see the notes are no longer playing. We have erased those notes. Now I can also press the respective pattern button to clear out that entire pattern. And the notes are gone. There is another way you can clear out notes. In fact, every single tool on DIKTAAT has an alternative behavior. You enable or disable that alternative behavior by holding function and pressing that tool's selection button. Also, pay attention to the state of the device, whether it is in recording or play mode, since you can actually enable and disable this alternative mode for all of the tools independently. Let's show up the alternative behavior of the clear tool. I'll make sure I'm in recording mode. I'll hold the function button and enable the alternative behavior for the clear tool. Now that behavior is enabled, when I'm going to select the clear tool, it's going to behave differently. Let me cheat one more time actually and fill again the 3rd track with some notes. Let me actually add some more notes. All right, you got a recording going. Now I'm going to select the clear tool. So before, the way it behaved was we pressed the button and that whole track got deleted instantly. Now it's only going to delete notes for as long as we hold the corresponding button. So let me show you how I'm going to insert some holes into our recording. We can still retain the original behavior where we can instantly clear out entire tracks. This is done by simply double tapping the corresponding track, and we're gonna erase all the notes from that track. We can still erase patterns the way we did before. The copy tool. Right now I have no notes recorded in any of these 4 patterns. I'm gonna start by punching in some notes for the first pattern. Now I'm gonna select the copy tool and copy these notes from the first track. So now we're copying the first track, and I'm gonna paste them into the third track. So now those notes are playing together. I'm gonna paste the same thing into the second track. So now all of these 3 channels have the same notes in them. Now I'm gonna press the patterns button. What I'm gonna do by doing that is I'm gonna paste whatever we're copying, which is the first track right now, into the second pattern. Now I'm gonna disable copy mode and go to second pattern. You'll notice that only the kicks are playing because those are the ones we were copying. Let's clear out everything again. Go back to the first track, or the first pattern, sorry, and record something fresh. I'm going to select the copy tool again, and this time instead of copying one of the tracks, I'm going to copy the entire pattern by pressing that pattern. So select the pattern to copy, and I'm going to paste it into the second slot. There we go. I'm also going to paste it into the third slot, so I'll disable the copy tool now, and the same pattern is going to be in the second and the third slot. The fourth slot is still going to be empty. We can also copy tracks from patterns to our currently running pattern. I'm going to press copy again, copy the first pattern, but only paste kick drum track. So now we only have the kicks from that pattern. The alternative behavior of copy mode, first we need to enable it, so function plus copy. I'm going to punch in some notes now into the first and third track. We're in the alternative copy mode. The way it works is we no longer select what we want to copy and where we want to paste it. We hold what we want to copy. So I'm going to copy the kicks and I'm going to paste them into the fourth track. If I want to copy something else, I'll press that button and paste it somewhere else. Let's talk about mutes now. Mutes are independent of any tool. They're accessible at any time. The mute button is right down here. We hold it and then select which tracks we want to mute or unmute. What we can also do is double tap the button. If any track is currently unmuted, it's going to mute everything. And if all tracks are muted, double tapping that button is going to unmute every single track. Let's talk about fill tool now. This is what I called cheating earlier. So we're going to activate fill tool by pressing the fill button. Right now you can see that the fader LED has gone on, which means that the fader is usable. I'm gonna leave it here for now. You'll notice that the track progress LED is now flashing, and instead there's these 2 static LEDs that are on. This means that this is a rhythm that we can write in by simply holding any of the track buttons. So I'm gonna fill in the hi-hat track. You recorded that. I'm gonna switch to something more dense. And I recorded that. I can also hold more of these buttons together, and the notes are going to be written into more tracks depending on the order in which the buttons were pressed. We can also move the fader as we're doing these recordings. We can also double tap a track, which is going to fill the entire track with the drawn pattern. You also note that the rhythms on the right side of the fader are randomized every couple of steps. So these kind of enable you to make new rhythms very quickly. I'm going to clear out everything and demo this. I'm going to press a different button. And that is the fill tool. Chain tool. These are the patterns we currently have recorded. The way the chain tool works, it allows us to chain these patterns together. So I have switched to the chain tool, and I'm going to write a chain. I'm going to play, the chain can be up to 8 slots long. I'm going to record the first pattern to play twice, so press the first pattern twice. I'm going to press the third pattern and the second pattern and quit the chain tool mode, unmute everything. You'll notice that the chain is already playing. The LEDs by the patterns are going to show us the upcoming pattern, and we are now playing through the 4-slot pattern. In the alternative behavior of the chain tool function, you can actually sequence patterns from different banks as well. The clock section. You can change the tempo by holding function and moving the fader around. Now we're changing the internal clock. We can enable an extended tempo range by pressing the range button with function. DIKTAAT can be reset with a CV input as well as with this manual button. It has also a reset output, which we can use to reset all our sequencers in our rack in sync. So let's talk about the break tool. Make sure you are in play mode and the break tool is selected. Now we can use any of the track buttons to loop the pattern starting at the first, second, or third, or fourth quarter of the pattern. So I'm going to unmute everything. I'm going to set the loop length of the loop to maximum with the fader, and I'm going to hold the first button, which is going to make a loop starting at the first step. You can see that it loops, and I can shorten that loop with the fader. I can loop starting at the third quarter of the pattern. I can press more of these buttons together and alternate between where the loop starts. And I can also use the breakout output of DIKTAAT to reset external sequencers. The shred tool is a live remix tool. It's a bit hard to explain in depth in this format. Please check out the manual. I'm gonna fill a track with hi-hats. And I'm gonna switch to the shred tool. The way shred tool works is it kind of takes two tracks, puts them together, and then separates the notes apart. And if whether the notes go on the first or the second track depends on the position of the fader. The fader chooses something called the dominance map. So just as a demo, let's select this dominance pattern, which means we will steal every first out of 4 notes and put them into our track. So I'm gonna actually cut a kick into every 4 hi-hats. Select the kick track and press the hi-hats. And in this way we can sort of generate patterns out of things we already have going on. So if I'm going to switch back to the third bank, for example, and I'm just gonna randomly mash up some tracks that are already recorded. You can also double tap a track to steal notes from all other tracks into that track. That is the shred tool. Let's talk about probability mode now. Again, make sure you're in the play tools and select the third tool. Now, the probability value can be set with the fader. You'll notice that there's a dead zone in the middle where no probability is added. You can activate or deactivate probability per track with the track buttons. I'm gonna enable probability for the kick drums, and let's actually mute everything else. So that is our kick drum pattern. Moving the fader to the left is gonna increase the chance that notes are being removed. So now some notes are randomly skipped. As we go more to the left, more and more notes are being skipped. In the middle, again, no probability is taking place. If we move to the right, we're not only increasing the chance that notes will be skipped, they will also be added next, neighboring to our already recorded triggers sometimes. So it's gonna make our patterns kind of fuzzy. Let me unmute everything. And I'm gonna actually enable this for all of the 4 tracks. One thing to note is probability is gonna be taken into account in any of the play tools, but if we're in the recording mode, probability is gonna be entirely ignored so that recording stuff will be less messy. Let's check out the Crossfader mode, the last of the play tools. Again, we have to be in the play mode and select the Crossfader. I'm going to unmute everything. You'll notice that when using the Crossfader tool, you can actually use these buttons to mute everything, same as when pressing the mute button. What we have to do now is I'm going to actually move the fader to the left side. The pattern we had active when we activated this mode is now the left pattern. The right pattern is select with the pattern buttons up here. So now the right pattern is the 4th pattern. If I go with the fader to the right, we're gonna only hear the right pattern playing. All the way to the left, we're only gonna be hearing the left pattern playing. Anywhere in between those values, we're first gonna hear a part of the left pattern and then a part of the right pattern. So now it's about 50-50. I can have the left pattern playing for most of the track. Actually, that will be this way. And that is the Crossfader mode. The assign button can be used to quickly access any of the available tools. By default, it is assigned to the break tool. So if I unmute everything, I'm going to hold the assign button. It's going to activate the break tool for as long as that button is held. So no matter what I'm doing, I can always access the break tool and do this. And I'm back to where I was without having to activate and deactivate the break tool. To assign something else to the button, simply select that tool while the assign button is being held. So let's say I want to assign the clear tool to the assign button. I'm going to switch to recording mode, press and hold assign and press clear, let go. And now whenever I press assign, the clear tool should be available. It is. Let's talk about save. The module can save all of the settings I have explained here for the next power cycle. Hold the function button and click save. Please know that when you save the settings for the next power cycle, the module is going to freeze for a second. And there you have it, it's safe. I have left out a lot of information. If you want full details on everything and even more settings explained, please read the manual. Everything is in depth there. I'll be open sourcing several aspects of the device. If you have any suggestions, feedback, or find any bugs, please get in touch, let me know. I will gladly implement that in a patch.